Okay, in this quick guide we're going to be looking at editing audio. In the last quick guide you may have seen we did a little bit of recording. We're going to actually edit the recording we did there. So if you haven't watched the recording quick guide, then it may be worth reviewing that first. But right now we're going to have a look at how we would take the recording we made, do a little bit of light editing to make it ready for broadcasting, and see how we go about that. So the first thing we need to do is switch over to Myriad. Okay, so here we are in Myriad, and this is the audio that we recorded last time out and that we're going to edit. So to edit the audio, you highlight the part you want to edit and you click on the edit button, and that opens up the what we call the smooth edit window. Now we're interested in editing the audio today. Sometimes we only want to change the title. So if we just wanted to change this to be a suitable title, then I wouldn't actually have to edit the audio at all, and I could just hit save and close it down, and you can see it's now titled. But right now I actually want to edit the audio, so I go back into there and press the open for full audio editing, and that will open up the waveform of the audio that we are going to edit today. And we can see straight away we've got a few issues we need to deal with here. The first one is that we had a whole bunch of recordings both before and after the bit we're interested in. I know from experience this is the bit we're interested in. I know that for two reasons. One, because I allowed some silence at the beginning and the end to make it very visible where it is, and also I can see the difference between when I've just spoken, when I'm speaking naturally, and when I've spoken a phrase in isolation. So if we listen to this bit here, is recording my voice. So what we're going to do now is, you can hear that was me rambling on about stuff before we actually recorded. This is the bit we want. You're listening to School Radio Live, and this is the bit after. Okay, and I left a bit of silence at the beginning. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to trim off the bit we don't need at the beginning, and that's as simple as using the left mouse button to highlight the bit we don't want, and then pressing the delete key on your keyboard. Okay, and we're going to do the same with the bit after we don't want. You can see there we now got the bit we're actually interested in, but we could be a little bit tighter on that, so I can highlight that bit there and press delete. And we don't need to be quite so accurate on the end of it, because it's really, we want it to start very quickly and snappily, but we're not too worried about the end. So if I press play now, oops, go back to the beginning, press play. You're listening to School Radio Live. Okay, so that's bit. In fact, actually I'm going to undo my the trim I did on the end there, because it was just a little bit tight for my liking. So let's do that again. You're listening to School Radio Live. Okay, so we've got a more natural sounding ending there. Okay, so that's good, but we can also see that it's a little quiet, because this is the volume we're aiming for at this level here, and we're not quite there. We're a little bit quiet. It's better to record quiet and then amplify it than to record too loud, because once it's distorted you can't do anything about it. But to make it the right volume, it's very easy, because we can use a process called normalization. Normalization, when you do normalization, what it does is it finds the loudest point in the file, which would probably be around about here, and it works out how much it needs to amplify it to get it to here, and then applies that same amplification across the entire waveform. So if I want to normalize this audio, if I double click, it will select the entire file, which I want to do. If I just wanted to normalize this bit, then I could do that, but right now I want to normalize the whole file. So double click highlights the whole file, and then this button here, if you hover over it, says normalize the selection to the set volume. So if I click on that, it then asks us what peak level normalization you want to go to, and right now I just want to make it 100%, which will take it to this line here. So I'll click on OK, and we can see there it's taken, you can see the peak is just there, and it's applied the same to the whole lot. So if I listen to it now, you're listening to School Radio Live. Okay, so that's our jingle recorded and edited. There's two other little things I want to show you. If I just play this one as it is, it would just play all the way through to the end, and the next item wouldn't play until here. But what we can do is we can set a thing called an extra, and to set the extra we just put the cursor where we want the extra to be, and then we click on the extra button here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the extra here, and if I play this for you, what will happen is when Myriad is playing this, or Autoplayer is playing this, when it reaches this point in the file, it'll actually start the next item in the playlist. So that will make it sound a lot more, a lot tighter on the transition. Now, so if I press play, listening to School Radio Live. So it will actually start the next item just as live is tailing out. Now you don't have to do this manually, you can use the auto extro. So if I click on the auto extro button, the first thing it'll do actually is it'll ask me to save the edit file first. So I'm going to click on save to avoid that. So let's now save the file. But if I click on the auto extro button, the system sets the extro for you automatically. So you can see it set it to just a little bit more aggressively than I did, but that's okay. So you don't actually have to set the extro manually, you can just click on the auto extro button and it will do it automatically for you. So that's it, that's our jingle done. We can click on close, and because I've edited it, it asks me if I want to save it again, so I'll say yes, and my jingle is now ready to play. You're listening to School Radio Live.